Explain it to me like I am special ed. Just explain it to me because I am having trouble understanding exactly what the hell is going on here.
Okay. Just for the people who don't know what it means, that little words up there above this little video. Ouya is a open source, open platform, Android-based game console that has been for about 9 or 10 days had Blue IR can speak good English. Has had a Kickstarter for the last 9 or so days with a projected price of about $950,000 and for a pledged goal, and they have reached a grand total with 20 days still to go of $5,193,620 with over 40,000 people, professionals, mind you, backing this system. This is huge. This is the largest amount of money and the fastest growing amount of money that Kickstarter has ever had.
Mm-hmm.
So this is nothing to just go, oh, whatever, blah. It's something really to pay attention to. So pretty much that's Ouya. Is how I'd say it. Like, oh yeah, but it's Ouya. As for, I'm reading through some of the updates here. They have a couple new updates. Well, let me just start with some of their first updates here. As in some of the people that are following this system. The first one that got me really excited was Team Meteor, which are the makers of the game Hawken, that is a free-to-play multiplayer mech game to be announced. Current open, I mean not open, but closed beta starts the end of this year, and and they have, this is a Twitter post from Meteor themselves saying, a crowdsourced open indie free-to-play console, count Meteor in. They are full supporters of the systems, and they plan on having, there's no guarantee of Hawken will be on the system, but we know the team that developed that game is under full support and plans on making games for that system. So
Honestly, it would make sense for them to put Hawken on there because it's going to be coming out around the same time as the console is, and the console has the power to be able to do that.
That
from
we
what I
don't
understand.
fully understand. Well, a lot of people don't fully understand exactly, because they're pretty much, it's just been what they say is on the system, but we don't know how that's going to perform, because when you look at a console versus a computer, they're radically different in the way they work. A lot of people are kind of afraid because it only has a 1 gig of RAM on the entire system itself, which honestly, let me just put that fear to rest right now and say that is actually an incredibly high amount of RAM. My explanation for this is the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 both have 512 megabytes of RAM. Just to put that into perspective, if this is the same kind of RAM that the PS3 and the 360 use, not the same kind, but it works in the same way, this is the most powerful amount of RAM that we've seen on a system to date. So this is a lot of RAM we're working with here. It's running on the NVIDIA Tegra 3 processor, or chipset, if you will. It has a quad-core processor on it, and it runs NVIDIA-based graphics GPU technology. And if you know anything about NVIDIA, you know they're top of their market right now with, support for everything. So, yeah, it's some pretty big stuff. And a lot of people are worried because the Tegra 4 is going to be out on the market by the projected date that the Ouya gets released. But again, let me put your fears to rest on this. This is why it's an open console. It's an open system. If the Tegra 4 gets real popular when the Ouya is released with this Tegra 3 processor, there's nothing stopping you from opening the system up and putting the Tegra 4 chipset on there. Now, like I said, I don't know how that works, but it may be internal. I don't know. quote me on any of this. I don't fully know exactly how the board. We've just seen little quick video clips on how the board looks. This will be a pretty small little system, kind of amazing. Some people are saying that it will be no bigger than a Rubik's Cube, and I'm like, yeah, that board looks a little big. That would be the largest Rubik's Cube I've ever seen. I'm thinking more maybe like a thick box version of like a Nintendo Wii in size.
It kind of looks like a GameCube. People
Yeah,
have been saying
I would think.
like, well, I guess that would be
in projection. I would think it probably will be around that size. Think of it maybe GameCube size, which is pretty small. So.
But that doesn't mean it will only be able to do GameCube style graphics or anything like that. No way. I mean, we're talking a gig of RAM. We're talking a quad core processor.
And we're talking current generation.
Pretty heavy duty for a console.
Pretty high end. The new Tegra 3 GPU. And if you've ever seen what the Tegra 3 GPU can do, take a quick Google search and find out for yourself. And I know that a lot of right now, the main focus of the Tegra 3 is to be put in mobile phones, which is kind of what has people kind of saying, why would I want to play a game system with graphics or that can only play games that I can find on my mobile phone? Why would I want to play mobile phone games on my TV? I guess my question would be is why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to see these awesome games that are being released on a mobile handheld device on your 60-inch TV with 1080p, updated graphics, with an actual fucking controller, instead of a touch screen or using the little control pad that it comes with. I don't see the problems that people seem to be having, and
well, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of confusing to me because it's just if you have the game on like a tiny little handheld and you like it on there, what's to keep you from enjoying it on a big screen TV? Is it the whole, I can't use a touchscreen thing? Because, we don't know about that.
I could put that to rest as well.
Yet, do we?
They have confirmed that the controller will have a touchscreen. It'll have a touch interface. So
I mean,
if you're used to playing Angry Birds or types of games like that with a touch interface, you'll be able to do that on the Ouya.
Maybe it'll be something like the Vita or something.
Again, from what people are just based off the information that we've been kind of fed through Kickstarter and through posts and interviews that the founder has done and other websites. What we've been able to gather information-wise is it's very much going to try to accommodate and try to bring in all different types of gamers, the console gamers, the PC gamers, and also the mobile gamers, and be able to accommodate all of them with touch support.
And that's honestly really smart.
Touchscreen support,
really
with a nice tactile controller, and the fact that it's a small form factor, and it is pretty powerful, which the small form factor and power would bring in, the console and the PC gamers with the tactile and the touchscreen support, bringing in the mobile gamers and the handheld gamers.
Yeah, and then of course the PC gamers brought in by the
independent development market, which is really the heavy backbone of the system, would bring in the PC gamers. So people are wondering what the market is, and I go, what isn't the market? I mean, it's everybody. It's everybody who, for the last 30 plus years, has wanted change, has wanted something different from the big giant companies releasing the same crap year after year, just with different forms, and making us pay $600 to $700 for the same thing, or just this updated hardware, updated graphics and stuff like that, and not once. And pretty much what I'm trying to say is, I'm kind of stumbling over my words here, because it's all off the cuff, none of it's scripted. Pretty much what people and hackers and modders have been doing for years with systems like the original Xbox, the Nintendo Wii, the PSP, loading their own homebrew software and getting it to do stuff that the system wasn't normally intended to do. This system is for you. This is the ultimate. This is like our wet dream. This is what we've been wanting for years. We've been wanting a commercial product that literally they hand it to us for $99, which is an amazing price for something like this, and to say, here, do whatever you want to it. We encourage you. We will show you how. They have already said that they will build this thing with standard screws, and so it'll make it easy to get into it. So,
I mean, if you, to me, it's just like that's just another selling point for the PC crowd, isn't it? Because PC gamers, we can't do anything to the console.
Well, here's the other thing. People are wondering, it's not going to be a free-to-play system. It's just going to have a bunch of demos like Xbox Live or the PlayStation Network. Well, you know what? It's an open system. Make some games for it. Do that. I'm telling you right now, this thing will grow a huge mod community. Huge. A completely open market.
Well, I think the problem...
If you don't like any of the games that Ouya provides through their licensing and stuff that they get from other indie development companies, put them on yourself. Get them yourself and put them on for free. They're not going to stop you. They don't want to stop you. They want you to do this. They want you to build this the way you want. They want you to make the game experience you want. This is... The other companies like Sony and Microsoft have said this for years, where they said that they've tried to make the game experience that you want, and all it's really been is what they think that you want. This is a true example of what you truly want. If you want it, do it. That's all. It's your, to quote the original, title and for Second Life. It's your world, your imagination. You do what you want to do. You make this world, and you do what you want to do with this thing. They're going to help you, and they will not stop you. And not only that, it won't break your warranty. That's the big one.
See, here's... yeah. The thing is, I'm just thinking now of all the possibilities, and I'm just like, all these people saying... Oh, demos? Is that all it's going to be? Because they see free-to-play first, and then they see them mention, well, yes, there will be free-to-play games, and there will be demos. And it's just like, so there's only going to be demos. All the people who are thinking or claiming there's only going to be free demos, and that's the only free thing that's going to be on the console, you have no idea what you're talking about. What are you talking about? There are already... developers who are primarily free to play. They are primarily interested in delivering free to play games.
Hasn't been.
They are already backing this console.
There hasn't been an official list.
So it's like,
but I can confirm a few people that you guys may know who is fully supporting and backing this system. The first one is people you may not know. These are the people from. Was it Robotoki Entertainment? The guy Robert from Robotoki. This is gonna make people go, oh my god, he worked on the Call of Duty franchise. He worked on the most popular multiplayer franchise on the planet right now, and he is not only a supporter, he's on the Ouya team. He's on the Ouya team, and he is working on a game a game for the 360 and the PS3 and pretty sure the PC, and for a release date of 2015 called Human Element. Now, this game, like I said, it's projected for that. It's still really, really early, probably just in pre-production stages. But he has come out. You can go to the Kickstarter for Ouya and watch the video where Robert himself talks about a prequel to Human Element being exclusive on the Ouya. He has joined the team, and he has said that they will make a prequel game that'll set up the world for Human Element when it comes out in 2015, and it'll be exclusive to the Ouya. So if you want a full build-up to a game which is pretty much, he's already said it comes out to be some kind of... it's a zombie apocalypse game, I'm not overly excited about that, but it's just the fact that, that is the kind of faith that they're putting in to this company. And the founder, by the way, Julie Ehrman, I think that's how I say it, Uhrman, Ehrman.
Yeah.
Julie Ehrman is the founder of Ouya, and she is a veteran in the gaming industry. She's worked in multiple companies. She's been very successful at it, and on the team is not only obviously her as the founder, but also another guy. This Yves Bear, I think is Yves. Bear.
Yeah.
Horrible names. But he's pretty much been the concept. He is there to design the system, but he's pretty much been the concept designer for most to all of our modern day game consoles that we have: the 360, the PS3, the Wii, stuff like that. He's had his finger somewhere in all of these systems, and they got him to be on the. He's been on the team for a while, and he is the sole designer of the Ouya. So it isn't just a bunch of no-name people saying, "Hey, we're going to make a system." No, these are industry veterans, very high-level professionals. This is a serious thing. This is huge, and I mean, I can't express my excitement enough for this. Like I told Stoutman earlier, I will gladly sell like my Nintendo Wii to raise the money to buy one of these things, even if it doesn't do well. This will be in a.
I'll sell my Wii.
I will do that. I will sacrifice a game console, a successful game console, for this, for one real main fact. The fact even if this bombs when it comes out and it's not very popular, it's still a handy development platform.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
It is a handy development. It's a handy development platform, and like I said, there will be a life for this thing if and when this gets released. Even if they stop supporting it and it kind of goes to the wayside, and they go, you know what, we tried. We throw the rest of the systems out there. You could buy them for whatever, $10 or something. It'll still be it's a quad core. Pretty much, it's a quad core computer with a gig of RAM in it.
Exactly, it's a miniature computer, and could you imagine the ways you could mod that and make that? I mean, I was just thinking earlier, like, what if somebody made it possible to get your Steam account on there and then play Steam games?
Like I said, if you watch the video, they've talked about some of the things you can do with it, and we obviously know that this thing has support for video playback and streaming. And they've already confirmed web browsing. So yeah, support for they came out and said full support for Twitch TV. So live streaming. Can you imagine watching Beetle on this thing?
That'd be interesting,
Beetle,
yeah,
and stuff like that.
That'd be a lot better than what we already use Beetle for. It's just like we wouldn't have to have it on our computer anymore. It could just be the console.
And some people are kind of also worried that it is kind of going the way of or kind of using a similar product model as the Phantom, it being a no, external input device, as in it'll have a couple of USB ports. They have confirmed that they will, because a lot of people are screaming, please don't make this Wi-Fi exclusive. They did confirm by one of the lead developers that they are putting in Ethernet. So it'll have Ethernet hardwire for fast, talk between the internets. And
didn't they also confirm web chatting?
They say video chatting they can see very, very easily in the future. Let me just bring down. So here's what we're doing now. This is straight from the Kickstarter. Developers are working to get the SDK in your hands as fast as we can. Please be patient. It's pretty simple to start using the existing Android SDK and adding the ability to promote your games and charge Ouya customers. We'll add to see as it goes. Okay, here it is. And we heard your feedback. Yes, we'll add an Ethernet jack. We have a lot of consoles to make, so I wouldn't expect too many more changes to the specs. Please keep sending your comments. We're doing everything to deliver it to you. Thanks. And that's from a guy named Muffy. And if you've ever heard of Muffy before, you're probably getting pretty excited right now. Muffy is the guy... Muffy, I'm not even going to attempt his last name. Gahadali, whatever. He was on the product team from Lab 126, who was the designer of the Kindle for Amazon. So, yeah, so we have someone who's fully experienced in the Android market, and who's designed mobile devices on there. And that was a statement, by the way, written straight from Muffy himself, saying that they are going to put that in. So, and he has... oh, by the way, also, this is for job perspectives out there. If you're an engineer, they are looking for engineers. Looking for engineers and people who are really well versed in the Android OS. To hit them up. You know, find a way to contact them, I guess. So, here's a little job perspective for you. But, I mean, it's just, I've almost lost track of the number of backers and people excited and major companies. The biggest one that made me go, oh yeah, this will become the most played game on the Ouya as soon as it gets released. Because we know the Xbox 360 got Minecraft. Daniel Kaplan is the creator, and he said he actually worked with a team. He worked with 4J Studios and Microsoft to develop the 360 version of Minecraft. But all this has been leading up to this big announcement right here. Daniel Kaplan himself has not only donated $10,000, but has put his full support for the Ouya, and has confirmed, and it's in the pictures and in the videos, has confirmed a Minecraft release for Ouya. Minecraft will probably be the most played multiplayer game on the Ouya. Because I'm looking at a picture of what their kind of beta screen looks like, where it shows like pictures of all the games, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pictures over, there's Minecraft, right there. It's already confirmed, and they've already had it up and running on the Ouya.
Awesome.
So
so like there are no games. I actually read somebody that's in a comment said that there are no games confirmed for this system. Oh, really?
Racing Live, Cannonbolt, Minecraft, Dead Trigger, Shadowgun. Those are no games.
Yeah.
Hawken, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Blacklight Retribution. I'm really hoping.
Those are pretty good games, man. I mean, it's got some backing, and on top of all that, it's like when you look at the Kickstarter and you realize that all they were asking for to get this off the ground, all they needed to get this off the ground, was just shy of $1 million, and it has already reached over $5 million.
Yeah, they've reached about 4.5 times their original quota.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I can't understand anybody who at this point would say, no, this is going to fail. There's no way this is going to succeed. It's like they have the money to make it happen. They have more than enough money to make it happen now.
Well, here's my thing on it, which is why I told you earlier. I said, you know, if there's a lot of negativity towards this, and no one just sits back, and if everyone just sits back and sees what the console does, and no one actually puts forth the effort and actually goes and puts a risk and buys it, or pre-orders it or anything like that, then yes, this will fail. It's the exact same theory as, let's say, I'll use this example. We had this back in 2003, where there was a multi-million-dollar neighborhood, and right across the street from the multi-million-dollar neighborhood, they were going to build the super Walmart there. And those people got outraged. They bitched and whined and moaned and complained, and pretty much it's one philosophy. If you don't shop there, they won't stay there. You know, a business can't stay in business without customers.
Mm-hmm.
So they say, you know, Walmart should be gone. Walmart should do this. Then don't shop there. That's simple. Just don't shop there. You know, and what do I see every time I go over to Walmart? Every time I head over there to check out the $5 bin or something like that, every time I go there, I see their fancy cars coming out of their multi-million-dollar homes driving to fucking Walmart. You know, all I gotta say is practice what you fucking preach.
Yeah.
Practice what you preach. That is it. You know, all you have to do, if you want, for the people who want to see Ouya succeed, or people who are on the fence on whether they think this might or might not succeed, you know, be a man, you know, or be a woman, or whoever you are. Put yourself out there. Take a chance. Live life. You know, we don't expect you to donate $1,000. Just, you know, when the system goes out for pre-orders or it gets released, spend $100 and buy one.
Well, technically, there have already been like 40,000 pre-orders. If you.
Oh yeah, the pre-orders have, in multiple occasions, have let's see, sold out. There's one that there are over 4,000 pre-orders have sold out.
Well, I'm just talking about in the Kickstarter thing. If you put in.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. The $95 pledge to get an Ouya system. The 1,000 backers there, that's sold out.
Yeah, but then there's a $99 pledge.
There's a $99 one with a limit of
80,000?
Yeah, 80,000. They've already got 46,173. For the $225 pledge, they have 780 of those, of another 2,500. They have 235 of the $699 ones. The $1,000 ones, 200. I mean, it's just like
they're already selling consoles, and the thing isn't even completely built. And so it's like, no, this has no hope at all. What are you talking about?
They don't even have a fully built controller and a chassis around this thing yet, and they're already selling over close to 9, almost 10,000 systems.
Yeah, that is
crazy.
Yeah, actually, it sounds like there's more, isn't there? Because you said there were over 40,000 people bought the $99 one, right?
No, there's 1,000 that bought the $95 one.
The $99, I mean.
4,000.
4,000?
No. Holy shit.
40,000, right?
It's 46,173.
Yeah. So over 40, pretty much over 50,000 people have already bought into this.
Have already paid their money and requested, and one, donated to the cause, and two, you know, pretty much pre-ordered an Ouya.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like,
I mean,
where is this?
You see projections like this for pre-orders in new big budget systems.
Yeah.
You know, you see these numbers. Never do you see this in indie development projects or anything like this. This is, to be honest,
I guarantee you Phantom never had anything like this. I guarantee it.
Phantom had one day in the spotlight where they were at, I think it was at E3 where they were showing up, but pretty much I don't want to compare Phantom to this because all Phantom really was a tabletop PC, and it eventually did get a release, but it was just a keyboard. That's all. They scrapped the console and the mouse, and they just released a keyboard under the Phantom name. But the Phantom originally was a no-disc download service game system that pretty much all it did was play PC games. If you were too cheap to build a PC at the time, you could buy a Phantom and it'll play all the modern games like Unreal Tournament 2004. So yeah, and the reason it died is because there were several reasons. I mean, money issues. It kept getting pushed back. They couldn't figure out licensing and stuff like that. And problems like this are non-existent because, for one, this is not funded by a big corporation. This is totally consumer funded. So not only do they not owe any licensing to anybody, but they don't have any overhead to pay to anybody. The $5 million that you're seeing right there is going solely into the Ouya, minus taxes.
And if you think about it, when they say if they say they only needed $950,000, just shy of $1 million.
Well, a lot of people are saying, they're not going to get the full $5 million because they're going to have to take taxes out. Like, yeah, they're going to take at most, maybe $1 million out of that.
Yeah.
And there's still going to be $4 million. There's going to be 3.5 times their original pledged goal.
Exactly. So it's like if all they needed was that $1 million, then they're going to be able to use.
People are saying that they didn't know about the taxes. They know about the taxes, and they probably worked that out when they pledged $950,000. So they probably needed less than that.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, I guess what I'm trying to say here is like, okay, they've got all this money that they didn't even need this much money, right? So it's like, oh, what happens if they need to work on this or work on that? What happens if they have issues or whatnot? Well, they've got the money for that now. They don't have to worry about that. If all they needed was $950,000, imagine how easy it's going to be with that much more. It's just like, really? This is happening.
Yeah, also people are saying that they're worried that they may have shot themselves in the foot by projecting to have this system out by March of 2013. And I just go, you know what? Worst case scenario, they push the system release date back a little bit. That's it. That is the worst case scenario. Next to it being fully shut down, which I seriously doubt. There's way too much support and way too many backers to have this thing just be randomly shut down for no reason. And plus the fact that people are again, I'm going based off what people have been saying. This is kind of the whole reason I wanted to do this off-the-cuff rant/podcast, is just to clarify what people have been saying. People are comparing it to the Phantom and also to the N-Gage.
Yeah.
On just kind of how fast systems can die out. The reason the N-Gage fails is because it was a dumb idea to begin with.
Yeah.
It was poorly executed and it was poorly made.
Way too expensive.
I mean, and it was way too expensive, and it required a monthly fee because you were on a cell phone plan. The games weren't all that good. They were pretty much crappy little pseudo 3D ports of old PlayStation games.
Nobody wanted it.
And nobody wanted it. And all it really did, popularity-wise, was blow up on the internet as what is known as the taco phone. Of people just holding random crap up to their head and calling it, look, I have an N-Gage. So yeah, I can see where their fear is, but I wouldn't compare the two. Also, that was Nokia. They funded that thing themselves. Really almost no backing. None of the games were really any good. They had maybe one or two major companies on the development team that made games for the N-Gage. And those were like the best ones. They were actually good. But they just couldn't get past the fact that you not only had to take the battery completely out to change the game, which they fixed in the second model, but
it was too late.
It was way too late. It died off as fast as the Virtual Boy.
Well, this is the thing, though. I mean, it's just like it didn't take into account future trends or anything like that. Like, recent handhelds and
this
stuff
thing,
like
people
that
are saying that this thing isn't either. This isn't open to future trends.
What are you talking about with that?
And I say, what the hell are you talking about? It's up to us, not up to them. It's up to us to make this thing updated to future trends. We have to keep it. They're giving us the ability to keep this thing relevant.
Exactly.
And to upgrade it, and to people are saying that they don't like the fact that it doesn't have any kind of peripheral devices like an optical drive or anything like that. Put one in. Put a USB optical drive. It has a USB port on it.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing right there. I mean, if I run into anybody that says like, "Oh, this isn't going to work as this isn't going to work as that," it's like I have one thing to say to you. It's two simple words: open source.
Exactly. If someone wants something to be on this system, somebody will do it. Trust me, they'll do it.
And for the price tag of $99, it's like, just to have something like that to mess around with is worth the $99.
they've said it themselves that, you know, in the interview actually. Here it is. It says the question was, what do you mean by openness? And the founder stated, everyone we talk to is embracing the idea of the openness and loving the approach. She goes, by the way, every single console comes with a debug console. You don't need to buy an expensive SDK. All the tools you need will be available in the console. It would allow you to root the device without voiding the warranty. We're even working on the idea of a plant, which will restore your profile after rooting your devices. Basically, it's restarting the system with a root. And because it's an Android, you'll understand the source code and how it works. If people are interested, we may even publish the hardware design. Which is like the blueprints on how they built the system. This is a really open console. We're even going to have standard screws in the console and the controller so you can open it up. That is from the founder. You can't argue with
You
that.
talk about sandbox games being fun. What about a game console that is literally a sandbox?
Welcome to the world. This is the first ever sandbox game console. Pretty much they give you all the stuff they need to pretty much build your own game system. It's pretty much a BYO of your own system. You know? And they give it to you for $99, which is a hell of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'll spend twice as much of that as a cell phone with the Tegra 3 chipset on it. You'll spend $300-400 on a Tegra 3 phone. You know? And those aren't even out yet. So, minus the payment plans. This has no payment plan. They don't plan on doing any kind of payment monthly fee service. Completely free. I mean, this thing, there's just so many positives to this thing that it just overwhelms the very little negatives. The very little negatives to the system.
Yeah. So really, I can't understand why people are being so negative. I mean, yeah, I think part of it is just, ignorance, and then part of it is just fear of having known that stuff like this has failed before. But they don't understand.
People like to feel like
different.
they're tied to a system. Or this is what I think is funny, is people will bash like Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo for business practices they don't like, or doing things that they didn't very much appreciate, or something they didn't like in a game, or what they did to the console, and they will call them names. They'll say they're the worst company ever, and pretty much say the exact same things they're saying now about this system, saying that it won't last, blah blah blah, and all this. But when someone stands up and tries to shake the status quo, they will turn around and they will defend the same systems that they just called worthless pieces of crap not a few days ago. And that's what's confusing, and that's what happens every time, and that's what I'm afraid of, is that they might look at these and kind of think, we may have more backlash than support, which they won't, but there's always that inner gut possibility and fear of it, because it has happened before. So, people just need to calm down, stop spouting shit they don't know anything about of. All these people that claim that, they know exactly how the business model is going to work, they claim to know all this information about all of this different stuff, and it's just like, okay, have you worked in the game industry? No. Are you just a weird idiot kid who thinks he's the be-all end-all and knows everything? Yeah. So, yeah, you can shut up. Pretty much. I'm pretty sure that we don't know anything about what her plans are, what Julie's plans are for the Ouya. We probably know maybe 5% of it. She's had this thing. This is, as she said in the video, this is a dream of hers. A dream of bringing the independent developers, the people that pretty much get locked out from what they known as the big three. So it's pretty much non-existent for indie developers. Makes it almost impossible without giant amounts of overhead and giant amounts of fees and money that they have to spend just to get their game on the systems, and they don't know if it'll do.
Yeah, I feel like we should talk about that too, because just like when other systems like this have come out, it's always been something where they had to answer to somebody. So it's like if the company that was providing them money for the product, whatever it was, told them, "Oh, we don't like what you're doing here, change it. We don't like what you're doing here, change it," then it would just cost lots more money. It would take more time to get it out there. This is the brainchild of a few individuals. And they don't have to answer to anybody because of the Kickstarter campaign. They really don't have to answer to anybody but themselves. So if they want to do it, they're going to do it the way they want to do it, and they're going to get it done. So it's not like they have to answer to anybody but themselves. That's what makes this so great. Is like, if you're any fear, oh, this is going to change, this isn't going to work, it's never going to come out, blah, 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 blah. Oh, it's going to come out. They don't have to answer to anybody. And that's why it's going to come out.
There's another question from this interview. By the way, this interview I'm reading snippets off of is from thenextweb.com. It's called Ouya's founder, Julie Ehrman, "This is Our Love Letter to Gamers" interview.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the other questions here. It says, "How are you going to ensure quality?" And pretty much what she said is to answer what you had said about, you know, the big long process having to answer to somebody, is they're going to have the same app submission process, or app submission process similar to how it works today on the modern Android market. And they're going to go through the same similar process of making sure the games are, you know, of quality. You know, they just won't accept all games. You know, they're not completely accepting, obviously, but that's to be expected. So, you know, if your game is good enough, you know, and you want it, instead of just putting it on yourself and releasing it on the internet for people to modify the system and, you know, put it on themselves, if you actually want it to show up on the Ouya, you know, game store, if you will, you can actually submit it to Ouya, and they will, and if they like it, they will put it up there. And then, like they say, you know, and it's up to the people, the developers, to have total freedom and flexibility to price or monetize the content according, you know, to how they see fit. So it's not like getting your game on Xbox Live Arcade, where, you know, you have to deal with the whole dealing with Microsoft, and then they, you know, send corrections over, you got to fix them, and goes back and forth, and finally when it gets published, you don't get all the money, you just get a commission from that. Microsoft pockets the rest. This is, all you're really doing is submitting it to Ouya to have them advertise it, and you pocket all the cash. This is an open source system, they can't charge you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, you know, they act like advertisers, and that's it. That's what's fantastic about it. And they've said this from the very beginning, no fees or overhead cost, which is the big send away to a lot of indie developers who want to get their games on the major systems, is that the overhead costs and the fees and licensing fees are so outrageous. It could be 3, 4, maybe even 5 to 6 times the cost of developing the game alone, in just overhead and licensing fees.
Yeah.
And with this, there's none of that. They made sure of it. They made sure that they had a service that is open. It truly is open. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited to see this come to fruition, because I will buy this. This will be my next game console. I can guarantee you that. So,
yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. I mean,
that's pretty much my thoughts right now on the Ouya. That's pretty much all I really wanted to say. I wanted to get this recorded because I knew if I waited any longer, I'd forget. I just wanted to get this down, and, well, like I said, it'll be posted. So all of you guys, be sure to tell us what you think in the comments below. You know, what do you think of the Ouya? we'll put links in the description to the Kickstarter, and I'll put a link to the interview and stuff like that, so you could read it all for yourself and you can get the idea on what they're coming from, and you can hopefully, with a smart mind, you can gauge your own opinions and let us know.
Yeah.
So
I'd be interested to hear that too.
Yeah. And also tell me in the comments below what you think of the NVIDIA Tegra 3.
Yeah.
The GPU and processor they're using on this thing. I've been watching videos and reading interviews about this thing, and it's impressive. It is very impressive. They've already had some games running on the Tegra 3 processor that were released on the PlayStation 3 and the 360. Games like the new Sonic the Hedgehog game. So stuff like that it runs, and what they're saying is they're working directly with NVIDIA. Ouya they're working directly with NVIDIA to make sure they get the maximum potential out of the Tegra 3, and they've already ran demos and videos and games that are in these videos that you see of the Tegra 3 processor running. They say they've actually gotten them to run better.
Ooh.
So we could see even higher performance from these people. So yeah, look forward to that. We're in a whole new world, ladies and gentlemen. Embrace it. We are taking the next step forward. We are questioning the status quo. We're finally, as customers, as hardcore gamers, we are taking a stand and saying, no, we don't want that anymore. We want this. We want something that we have control over. Something we've always wanted. To make it ours. So make it yours. Do it. That's all I gotta say is do it.